guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about an influencer scandal. Now, this is a more lighthearted topic for this channel and I needed that today, so that's what we're doing. It's crazy to me how many influencer scandals we've seen and how little it seems influencers learn from that scandal. Example, if I wanted to start a brand and I see an influencer who starts a brand and they fuck up in ways A, B, or C, you'd think I'd note those ways so I don't fuck up in ways A, B, or C. Yet, here we are, and the craziest part is that they fuck up the easiest parts of the job. We'll get into it, but it's not like they're fucking up finances. They're fucking up stuff that is obvious if you know anything about, I don't know, human behavior, I guess, or about how to not get your employees to go to HR about you, but anyway, we'll get into that in a second. I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Rocket Money. Now, if you've been following me for a while, I was using Rocket Money before they sponsored me, so it's been years now that I've been using the service, and it's been so helpful. So if you don't know what Rocket Money is, here's the deal. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you manage money and even cancel subscriptions, make custom budgets, and grow your savings. I've personally used Rocket Money to track my weekly spending, as I get a weekly report that tells me if I spent more or less than the prior week, and that's been super helpful to keep track on a week-to-week basis without having to pore over bank statements. The other aspect of Rocket Money that has been useful time and time again is the canceling of subscriptions. I've had to subscribe to streaming services sometimes to just watch one movie or one show, but then I forget to cancel the subscription. Rocket Money allows me to look over all of my subscriptions and cancel quickly, so I don't pay for services I don't use. To take control of your finances today, go to rocketmoney.com/readytoglare to get started for free. Thank you, Rocket Money, for sponsoring this video. Okay, so like I said, today we're talking about an influencer scandal. Now, like I said, I feel like many influencers don't learn from those who came prior, especially when it comes to extremely simplistic things. And also, I feel like a lot of influencers don't realize that if you start your own brand, it's probably smart to hire people who have experience in whatever you're doing as opposed to just kind of eyeballing it by yourself, because guess what? Most of the time, we see that explode in people's faces, and sometimes in ways that are kind of irreparable to their reputation and their careers. So today we're talking about Matilda Djerf. Matilda Djerf issues public apology after bombshell accusations of toxic workplace. Matilda Djerf, the Scandi influencer behind clothing label Djerf Avenue, has broken her silence following an explosive investigation into a toxic work culture and accusations of bullying from her staff. The 27-year-old Swede and her feathery blonde blowout had gone quiet on social media following the controversy, but she's now resurfaced to issue a public apology of the Notes app carousel variety. So this is what she wrote in her apology. Over the past few days, I've been quiet on social media. My highest priority has been to meet with the Djerf Avenue team and speak to them, she began. I'm fully aware that my words here are not an answer or a solution, but for me it's important to write this directly to you. To anyone who I've let down, I want to start off by saying that I'm genuinely sorry. When I started Djerf Avenue, I never expected that the company would be what it is today, with so many team members and so much responsibility. I wasn't ready. I'd never led a team prior to this. I'd never built a company prior to this, and under a lot of stress, high tempo, and naivety, I failed to be the leader and colleague I wish to be along the way, and for that I'm so sorry. I wish my growth happened faster. I really want to underline that I'm extremely committed to getting it right and to continuing growing. We are constantly working on improving and developing the internal business, everything from structures that need to be set in place to new initiatives. This is ongoing work, and this year we've made some important changes to improve the work culture at Djerf Avenue. Amongst other things, we've hired a more experienced management team, we have introduced monthly anonymous surveys to collect feedback and take action, we have also set up an external organizational psychologist to assess our workplace. We are also in the process of bringing in additional external HR professionals to support the organization. Moving forward, I'm committed and want to focus my all on becoming the best leader and colleague I can be. I'll keep learning and working to ensure Djerf Avenue is a safe, inclusive space for everyone. I want to end by saying thank you to all of you who have been honest and transparent conversations with me over the past few days. At this point, you might be asking, what did the girlie do? And that's also what I was wondering. So, absent from the apology was any direct acknowledgement of the fat phobia she's accused of proliferating despite marketing her brand as one of self-love and inclusivity. Before we talk about exactly what she is apologizing for, I will say, as a general notion, it seems positive, right? That you would get outside resources. Like I said, if you don't know how to do something and you have your own company, find the best person who does the thing, or the second best person you can hire who knows how to do the thing, bring them in. That's completely smart, and I think that's a good idea. Except, in this particular case, it highlights, in my opinion, a far bigger problem, which is not necessarily reparable by hiring some HR people. We'll get into it. This is what the controversy is. This is what she's apologizing for. Rumors of Djerf's virulent leadership came to a head when Swedish tabloid, don't know how to pronounce, released an expose on the inner workings of Djerf Avenue's workplace. Compiling interviews with 11 employees, the investigation painted a harrowing picture of bullying, fat phobia, and one bizarre bathroom rule. Staff described an environment where daily tears were commonplace, public scoldings a routine affair, and where the founder's alleged fatphobic remarks went blithely unacknowledged, particularly for a company whose clothes are offered in sizes XXS to 4XL and marked with the ethos of body positivity. These claims have shaken the very foundation of Djerf Avenue's personal brand. Amongst the most jarring accusations are Djerf's reported comments about plus-size models. Employees recall her reacting to campaign images featuring larger bodies with disdain. "We have to reshoot this because she looks so fucking fat in these clothes. We can't show that," she allegedly remarked. So, before we continue, do you see what I'm saying about the problem being larger than what necessarily HR can fix? Because here, and this is reflected in comments on her socials or any kind of article about her has comments saying this. The thing is, it's one thing if you're lacking leadership, okay? And that's normal if you've never run a company or whatever the case may be. The thing is, as of right now, bullying and fat phobia for me is under the umbrella of bullying, whatever. Bullying, that's not something you should be learning at your age now that you shouldn't do. You know what I mean? So it's not like, sure, you can change your ways, you can work on being nicer, but it's like, this is something you should know just as a human. This isn't about business. This isn't about leadership. It's about you being nice and polite as a person. Not even nice, really, just polite. You can think all the horrible things you want. Nobody can stop you. But what's exterior, what you externalize, that's something you should know. That you go to a business meeting at your own company and talk about a model looking quote unquote so fucking fat. Like, first of all, that's completely pointless because you can say, instead of saying all of that, you can literally just say, you don't like how the clothes look in this picture, let's retake the pictures. Was the lighting okay? Can you change the lighting? Like, there are all these technicalities that come into it that didn't have to be put that way. Now, of course, to some degree, this falls under political correctness, but political correctness also, to some tiny degree, overlaps with being polite, because you don't have to say everything you fucking think. Like, if you think a model looks ugly as fuck in her picture, do you have to say that at the meeting? Your business meeting? Do you have to say that? See, even they know. You don't have to say that. On the other hand, you could say, let's retake the pictures. I want another model for this shoot, maybe a model that is more suited for this dress, whatever the fuck. But the thing is, the issue here seems that there's honestly a lack of maturity, and I think it has nothing to do with leadership. You don't have to be a leader to know to not say certain things or to phrase things properly. The same way that when I'm in class and the idiot says something fucking stupid, I'm not gonna be like, hey dude, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard, you should consider quitting this program. Instead, I'll say, interesting, I disagree because. That's just workplace shit, that's school shit, that's diplomacy, basically. Her disdain wasn't limited to models either. Employees report similarly disparaging remarks about their bodies, with one person recounting being told their jeans didn't fit right, either too loose or too tight, depending on Djerf's whims. Then there's the matter of the office toilet. A documentary segment revealed that a specific stall marked with a sign reading "Please don't use" with a heart scribbled beside it was reserved for Djerf and a select few. And if you thought that was odd, the situation's absurdity peaked when an employee, having unknowingly used the stall after the taped-off sign fell off, was allegedly made to scrub it clean. In a statement, Djerf Avenue COO Pernilla Bonney explained the arrangement as necessary for Djerf's health, though the logic behind that remains unclear. I don't understand the bathroom stall thing unless that stall were specifically for women, if it had a trash can or something that the other stalls don't have that are maybe for men. But otherwise, it's like, you should either have your own bathroom in your own private office, but you can't just tape off a section of the office bathroom for you. Get a private bathroom at that point, because this is just kind of crazy. This is like employee of the month bathroom stall. Actually, that would make more sense than any of this. Backlash from fans was swift. Followers who once idolized Djerf and her brand were left feeling betrayed. How can you preach inclusivity then say these things? One commenter asked on her Instagram post, while others have questioned whether the brand's values were even more than a marketing strategy. An influencer virtue signaling to turn a profit? Shocking stuff. Many TikTokers have also commented on the scandal, pondering what we should really expect from these social media figures and reminding people of the insidious powers of image curation. While the blogger's apology attempted to negate the controversy, it ultimately left too much unsaid. Now, I do think there is such a thing, well, I mean, I think the internet is about making something out of nothing a lot of the time. I do think that there still has to be a high standard left on brands, because yes, do I trust influencers? No. Do I trust influencers who have brands automatically? No. But at the same time, if you're a brand, to me, the standard is the standard of a brand. I'm not gonna let you have like 20 passes because you're an influencer who has a brand. Because every brand that started at the beginning, they might have not been influencers, but they weren't experts either, right? Everyone starts somewhere. So you don't just get a pass for your brand because you're an influencer who didn't know better. The standard is what it is. And we all have our personal standards, but it remains, and you don't get a pass because you're pretty on the internet. So then they give a little bit of context on who Matilda actually is. Matilda Djerf is a 27-year-old content creator whose fame skyrocketed during the pandemic. Gaining notoriety for her cottagecore-fueled Instagram feed, she became a household name and has acquired over 3 million followers on Instagram alone. With a buoyant personality and even bouncier hair, she inspired legions of fans to replicate her style. In 2019, her and her boyfriend Rasmus Johansson capitalized on this appeal, launching Djerf Avenue with minimalist basics like oversized t-shirts and miniskirts modeled after her signature Scandi style. But as Djerf's influence expanded, so did the I don't know what this person is mad at, but I'm about to drop an anvil on that car. But as Djerf's influence expanded, so did the pressures of managing a rapidly growing business. So this was interesting to me, mostly because it's been a while since I've covered an influencer scandal of this type, but it's also the question of who we give our attention to, and I know I'm gonna sound like a boomer on this, probably, but I think it's important to think about the fact that the reason that these people are able to begin brands is because we give them our attention, right? Whether that's a like, whether that's a comment, following, whatever. And of course, you can't predict what someone's gonna do in the future. But the fastest way, as we well know, of getting people to shape up is usually not just criticism, but not giving them our attention. So am I telling you to unfollow? No, do whatever you want. None of my business. But what I am saying is that I do think some of these influencers get to a position of so much fame or notoriety, whatever you want to call it, that they think that they're going to get away with things that I think they probably wouldn't assume they'd get away with if they had a tenth of their following. You know what I mean? A lot of brands, we see that they have quality control problems, which is still serious, mind you. They have problems with shipping within a timely fashion. In this particular case, I think that it's not exceptional by any means, but it stands out in its own way because it's about personality, it seems here. Like it's her being, that's the problem. It's her behavior, that's the problem. It's not like problems in the supply chain or whatever. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. As a general notion, I don't really support influencer brands unless there's someone who very clearly is into what they're doing, is into fashion. And a lot of the times what they're doing just seems like a gimmick. And in this case, I don't know if it's that, but it seems under-researched. Anyway, you guys can let me know if you've been following this, if you have any particular thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.